What is up, male and female representatives of the human race? Today we're going to talk about the dangers and stupidities of tuning a car, that's this thing here, inside a closed garage. Now, I went through a lot of stages of trying to fix this issue because, as you can see, my car isn't mobile. But I do want to tune it, at least to some degree before I start driving it, because I do not want to have it running poorly and risk, engine damage. So now, as I said, I went through a bunch of stages. Now, I'm willing to do a lot for my car. I'm willing to spend money, more money than I have on my car. I'm willing to spend more time than I have on my car. I'm willing to bleed for my car because I have bled many times. Once I tried to lift an engine and I held it by those sharp fins on the clutch and I bled like a trail of blood to the garage. I have probably spilled liters and liters of sweat working around the car in awkward angles, around the engine bay. So I'm willing to do all of that. But I am not willing to get brain damage and or die for my car. Because if I were brain damaged or dead, I wouldn't be able to enjoy my car. So why am I mentioning death and brain damage? Well, that's because carbon monoxide poisoning can cause death and or brain damage. It's the other way around. It's first brain damage and then you die while being brain damaged. Now, I have actually had a very mild carbon monoxide poisoning while working on this car on 2 occasions. I did get a huge headache and I did get dizzy, but I didn't get brain damage, I think. Now, how did that happen? Well, that happened because I was stupid and naive. I believed that, let me show you. Do you see that white hose thing there? Well, at the other end of that, there's a tiny little electric fan that's supposed to vent out fumes and stuff out of the garage. I believed that little vent and a mask was like this was enough to keep me safe while working in the garage. Well, let me tell you, it's not enough. And I almost fainted. But I kept working, just a little bit more. I'll tune it just a little bit more, just a few minutes. I would open the door, but opening the door wouldn't get the crap out of the garage soon enough. So I would walk around, many times smelling very, very badly. I had a lady at a cash register in a supermarket once do like this and take, the money from me while she had one hand on her nose like this. So, yeah. After a while, I became less stupid and I realized that there has to be some sort of system where I don't need to wear a mask that can evacuate the gases, released by my engine from the garage safely. So I made this. Let me show you that. So as you can see here, it's hooked up to my exhaust and it goes all the way up there and goes outside. The garage. Now, here's a problem. I went through numerous editions and versions of this thing. Now, this hose, the one that, wait a second. This hose, the one that shakes, is actually the hose from a kitchen, I think it's called a hood range or something, the thing that's above your cooking surface that they're supposed to take, all the smell away from the kitchen. Well, that's what this hose is hooked up to. It's hooked up to a kitchen range. I don't know if it's called a range. Never mind. Now, the 4AG bike carb conversion is so unbelievably powerful that every time it rips it apart. As you can see here, it is very much, come on camera. It is very much ripped apart. Now I tried taping it up. I even bought a lot of tape that is supposed to be heat resistant and I tried taping it up. But every time the amazing power of the bike carbs destroys the hose. So what I did is I decided that, probably the gases are strongest and hottest right after the exhaust. So I hooked up this. I don't know if you can hear that. I'll give you something. Stay with me. So what this is a piece of metal pipe, and this is what you hooked up to a wood burning furnace or stove or whatever else. So I bought these two elements and put them in the exhaust pipe, sorry, the exhaust tip, the muffler, I don't know. I hooked it up there, and as you can see, I also taped it up with a lot of this heat resistant tape. So this part proved to be efficient and didn't fail. Let me show you my first version. Before I had this hooked up, I had this. I taped it up with a lot of that really strong tape that holds, car bumpers when they fall off. But the mega powerful bicarb converted 4AG ripped it apart. So I hooked up the metal thing. The metal thing is holding on, but all I got was, the hood kitchen range oven thing getting ripped up further away from the exhaust. So what I'm going to do today is that I'm going to bite the bullet, and I'm going to buy all this thing from the exhaust all the way to the vent. I'm going to buy metal pieces, and I'm going to make a metal system of evacuating fumes from the garage, which should not fall apart. Now this is one of those things that you simply do not plan when you're working on your project car, but it happens. It takes time away, it takes money away, but it's necessary for you to be able to keep working. It's one of those weird, unexpected things. So what we're going to do now is that I'm going to measure the length of this thing, and then we're going to enlist the help of our faithful Toyota Aygo, and we're going to drive to the nearest hardware store and pick up metal elements to install here and have a safe gas evacuation system from the garage. It's not gas, it's fumes, but never mind. Let's measure this thing and see how much we need and how much it's going to cost me. Okay, so I can't find my measuring tape, but we need about 3 times the span of my arms. Okay, so I'm probably going to buy the wrong amount, and I'm going to have either too much or too little, but who cares? That's who I am. So let's go and buy the stuff that we need. Okay, stay with me now. I am fast. I am powerful. I am beautiful. Okay, now louder. Oh, okay. Don't worry about it. Here's another feature of the Aygo I never showed you. And that's that there's no way to operate the passenger window from the driver's side. You have one switch for the driver's window and another switch over there for the passenger window. So what this means is that, for example, let's say you're driving really fast on a curvy road in your Aygo and you happen to fart, like a really smelly fart right before a curve. So what do you do? What do you do? Do you release the steering wheel in order to open both of the windows with your 2 hands and risk crashing in order to avoid, dying from the horrible smell of the fart? Or do you keep one hand on the steering wheel and release only half of the fart by opening only the driver's window? Think about it. What would you do? I forgot to mention, and I think it's really important, is to talk about the air-fuel mixture. Now, when I did my bike carb conversion, I essentially went to, from electronic fuel injection to carburation. And here's the deal with carburetors. They run a lot richer than fuel injection. And here's the deal with running rich. It stinks. An air-fuel mixture that's rich coming out the exhaust smells a lot worse, than a lean one. So I remember when I was tuning the car, the 4AG back when it was stock, rebuilt in a stock form, it didn't smell this bad. And here's another problem. To do any sort of tuning with the carburetors, you need to have your engine at operating temperature. That means fully warmed up. Now, by the time the engine is fully warmed up, the garage smells so bad, it's unbelievable. So that is probably the key, the essence of the reason why I need to do this, what I'm doing right now. So here's what we got. I bought a bunch of wood stove piping. I bought some long ones, some short ones. I bought another elbow piece. So I bought a little extra as well, just to be safe. So now let's see if we can make this work. Look at that. Kind of looks like one of those turbo turn down exhaust pipes. I think I just invented something, and I call it the Balkans Bosozoku. So I'm actually not taking this off once the car is complete. I'm going to weld all of this in place, get a huge bracket from here, weld it onto the trunk right there, and this is going to be my new exhaust. I mean, how awesome and how cool is this? I'm certain you guys agree and love this, and this is going to make the MR2 so much better. Okay, so I'm just missing one piece right here. Fortunately, I have another piece left. There it is. I'm just gonna cut it up, and I think this is going to be finished in a matter of minutes. Okay, it's in. All of it is installed, hooked up. I've put some jack stands for additional support. I'm using one of my ramps there for more support. So let's fire the car up and see if this thing falls apart. Just need a tiny bit of idle adjustment. So as you have seen, there are still fumes coming out of this thing, but I'm still calling it a success. Why? Because the amount of fumes has been greatly reduced, and it's actually possible to work in the garage without dying. You should have seen it before. Without the piping, you could actually cut the smoke with a knife. So definitely an improvement. However, it needs to be improved some more. And I have identified two spots where actually the exhausts are coming from. Spot number one is at the very top right there. The way I tried to reduce that fitting to fit into the hole into the wall isn't really good, so I'll need to figure that out because some smoke is coming back through there. And the second weak spot is at the elbow at the bottom, which is on the floor. It's at a little bit of a weird angle and some smoke is coming out of there too. Once I fix those two, the thing at the elbow at the floor, I'll just tape it up with a lot of tape, and that thing up there I'll have to figure out a smarter solution. But once those two are fixed, I think the fumes should be minimal, and with an open door I can work here without dying. Maybe put the mask on just in case. So I guess that's pretty much it for today. I hope you liked hanging out with me today. We did some shopping, we did some driving, we did some assembly. It was pretty fun and it was progress. Maybe not direct progress on the car, but progress that will enable direct progress on the car. Okay, so I have one more thing today before I end the video, and that's that I'm announcing my big giveaway of 4AG parts for all my 4AG enthusiasts and builders out there. So the giveaway is going to be happening next weekend on this day, which is a Sunday, at this time. So this is how it's going to work. It's going to be first come, first served, and there's going to be some requirements for you to be able to participate. It's not going to be a random giveaway. So in order to be able to participate, you either have to have a 4AG engine and or a car that has or had a 4AG engine in it. Anyway, something that is a project or a daily driver, I don't care, whatever, as long as you have something where you can actually use the parts. I do not want to give away parts to people. We're going to put them up on eBay and sell them. So everything is going to be free. The only thing you will have to pay for is shipping. Now shipping is going to be cheap. Mostly it's going to be $10, $20, maybe $30 for some parts. Where the shipping is really expensive, I might chip in with some of my own money to make it more affordable. So there will be new parts, there will be used parts. Some of the parts are really valuable. They sell used for a couple of $100s sometimes. Some of the parts will be less valuable, but still really, really useful, and some might be even really hard to find. So, I guess that is it. As always, thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you soon on the D4A channel.